It looks like yes. That is good. We are live. Kia ora tato. Welcome to another Q&A here at Digital Boost. I'm Georgia Hatzis, your host, and today I have to tell you I'm really excited about this Q&A because I dragged Animesh Panda in for this talk because we were talking about how to streamline your business, your systems for productivity, your documents, and Animesh is an expert in this. Animesh, it was great because I was able to drag you in. We had a conversation, and this was months ago. So it's taken us a while to get to this point, and I'm so glad it's finally July, and we finally get to have you here to share your expertise with us. We're talking about Streamline for Success, unlocking efficiency in your business. I am going to field any questions that you may have. So pop those into the Q&A function here in the Zoom. If you're in our Facebook or our YouTube or our LinkedIn, you can leave a comment there and I will keep an eye out for that. But basically, Animesh and I are going to have a conversation about processes for productivity, for performance, for streamlining. Let's get your business efficient so you have more time to do all the other things you want to do in your life. Isn't that right, Animesh? That's what we want.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. Excited to be
Welcome.
here.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you here. So go ahead, share with us what you want to share.
Okay, I think as a prompt, I would start talking about how do you, when we talk of process improvement, a lot of times people start thinking of discipline, consistency, and all other jargons that go ahead with it. But that also adds on to the pressure. So, what I would like to highlight is consistency is or intensity is not just a matter of it has to be done. It has to be done at a certain way, at a certain pressure, and um, how do I say this? On your screen, I've shared pictures that some of you would have seen, some you would not have. This to me all is consistent. Even this part that it highlights as intensity, eh, we are at the end of the day we are all human beings, and business is a collection of human beings coming together to make it happen. So, where I see the consistency being playing out is we just have to show up and keep doing things that we are good at and we enjoy doing, or even get paid for, and whatever the drivers for the performance is. So, my key point here is without worrying too much about consistency, showing up and doing the doing regularly is a very big success or a massive step towards process improvement.
I think it's a very good point when you talk about the intensity of things. So, right, when we're thinking about consistency and in order to have that efficiency, you can burn out if you're just trying to like constantly do it at the same intensity. So that is a good point that there's an ebb and flow. Absolutely.
All right. Uh, The other thing I would like to highlight is when we talk of process improvement, the first step thing that comes into mind is current state, future state. People start going to the drawing board and they start jumping onto the solution. But in the experience that I've noticed is a lot of time businesses run, especially business owners, it's owner operated businesses. They have certain ideas in mind and they have a solution that they want to implement with the team, and they find all the right reasons and tools to implement that and validate that thought process, which is a big bottleneck and adds on to uh, a skewed behavior in terms of business performance. So if I look at business as there's an input, there's a processing, there's an output, be it a manufacturing input section or be it a service provision, it needs an input, it has an output. Beyond all this, there's all the system that sits behind it, and the system includes the human behaviors, the process, uh, the tools and technology that supports that process. And looking at that point of view, what is the value generated at each step? Understanding what happens when there's a value leakage or we're doing it for a step because it has created a perception or a step that is reputed or worked for some other business, and we just want to replicate it. uh, those things could be a lot of non-value add activities, which I feel starts becoming a blind spot for business. So it becomes very important thinking of efficiencies and utilization to focus on what value is a step generating for us as a business. That is a very significant step in process improvement.
And is that different for every business, or do you feel like there are some basic streamlining um, tools or any kind of apps people can use or any kind of steps they can do that works across all business?
Uh, To answer that question, the general answer it'll depend on the scale of the business or the service and the industry of the business to how to make it happen. But for the side of analyzing and understanding, there are n number of canvases available out in the industry, and I rely heavily on Lean Canvas, which identifies the key holders, the key players or key factors that will help you um, keep your business lean. So, what are we trying to achieve? So, imagine the time when we started a business. Not our business. Let's go back a step back. As a human, let's say we started a business. We needed to write something. We started with a charcoal, and that is a solution in itself. And as time came on, we improved from it came to lead to pencil, pencil to pen, and now we scribble with all the digital tools we have. So it has all evolved over the humankind's entire journey. So similarly, every business would have started with a vision or a thought in mind. Okay, we can do this. We can. Any business owner would have thought this is probably what I can keep doing and make money out of it. So when we go into those thought process, it's what did we start the business for? What are we solving? What problem do we want to solve? Keeping a basic, going back to the fundamentals, and if it does not align with what you're delivering, then perhaps revisit and rethink the step of the process.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about Lean Canvas? I know a lot of us have used Lean Canvas, but there are some of us who it's just a new concept. I know it's been around for a while, but can you give us a little breakdown of how you use it, how you might use it for efficiency in your business? And let's talk about maybe a small business, let's say a solopreneur, someone who is, a coach, or we've got a lot of people who are just a one-man band here.
Yeah. So Lean Canvas helps us identify. It's a template. When we say campus, there are a lot of business tools that are available uh, to just work through different segments, and it gives you a lot of clarity on what you need to do and what we need to focus on. And the first problem in Lean Canvas, first section in Lean Canvas is mm, the problem statement. What problem are we trying to solve? And going back, I'll just bring up the Lean Canvas that I have. Give me a second. Uh, Sorry, it'll take a while to load up. While it loads up, I'll talk you through the section. Uh, So second part is what are the existing alternatives? What problem are we trying to solve was the first part, and then start focusing on what are uh, the alternatives. Is there somebody doing it in the market, or how is this a problem in the market that people would like to use? Or and then what solution do you have in mind, or what do you want to offer? And one of the things is, when do you say that you have solved a problem? Identifying those key metrics to define, you've come to a conclusion that you have solved a problem. And while doing the solutioning, it's also to focus on what is the unique value proposition that you are bringing in, you as a business or a solopreneur is bringing into the business, and what is an unfair advantage that you have, or that nobody else can replicate it, uh, or a high level concept of what you want to do. So just understanding those different elements. What is your customer segment? Who are the early adopters if people have moved in? So those are all the service side of it. And now comes the transactional side of it. What is the cost structure that you would need to incur to make it happen? Recognizing those pieces and then going down the line of revenue streams. How are we going to monetize this section? If you're going to uh, say multiple customer segments, be it a B2B segment or a B2C segment. When I say B2B, it's a business to business, and B2C is business to customer. Like, for example, B2B would be when a company, like any government agency, going out to another digital consultant to seek advice and solutioning. That's a B2B setup. And retail users would be we going to buy groceries from any supermarket. So that is a B2C setup. So understanding what the target's customer segment is and then breaking them down into different revenue streams. Okay, here we go. For the benefit, what I just spoke about is on your screen now.
Oh, great. And I would recommend for those of you watching
Mhm.
to take a screenshot. Oh, that's great. So this is Lean Canvas, and this is how you would break down things for your own business here.
Yes, absolutely. And
Mhm.
And for slightly bigger businesses who have multiple revenue streams already going and they haven't reflected and they probably are feeling stuck, this probably is a good tool to lean on and reduce all the non-value add activities that keep going around this. Or it will also help you identify areas that you could benefit or start focusing on.
So you had mentioned bottlenecks before. So streamlining something that's a bottleneck. Can you give me an example of maybe what some kind of bottleneck might be in a business structure and then how to fix that?
I'll use a little bit of a construction example, say construction agency, because it's got a lot of different components playing. Let's talk commercial construction. We start from, say, I have an idea. We want to build this commercial building that could host 10 stories of offices, and people could use go in and go out. Then there's in New Zealand we have got a structured way of getting the consent. So different pro, mm, service providers start engaging as in the consent application with the local government, that's the local councils. I'm just laying out the process first, and then we talk about the bottleneck very quickly. And then uh, the segue from the sorry, I was at the consent. So from consent phase, there's different agencies involved. There's a tendering process. People are invited for different segments of the building. So they also have their consent drawings. Those are done, goes approved, tenders issued. Now they're, say, preferred builders. The builders will go and hire subcontractors to do, say, different pieces of the building, but they all have to work to the same plan. And when the building is done, different service providers, subcontractors have to say, we have done our part of the work to a specification that we were given. And they've done their piece. And a project manager says, here, the building's ready. Building owner, Mr. Building owner, the project's ready for you. Yeah, the building's ready for you, and you can take it on, go to the market, get people. So what happens in the entire life cycle here is there's a lot of documentation that goes back and forth. And because there are so many different parties involved, the as a customer, building owner is so confused, and project managers, because their bread and butter relies a lot on start of the building, finish the building, move on to the next building. The bottleneck as an experience would be the transfer of documentation between different agencies. So that creates a massive lead time from one phase to other, and that could be a project manager's nightmare because some subcontractor has not supplied a document that could not be passed on to the other subcontractor, or say There's not a common set of documents that is passed on to the building owner, so they can uh, mm, hold. They get partial payments. Payments are not held. So these, as a whole ecosystem, you would notice there's a lot of bottlenecks. So as a project manager, when I look at it, say imagine I'm running a company where I'm just doing project management. So engaging in my entire experiences, different touch points only through the document exchange. And I mean, that's oversimplifying it. The project management has a lot of details behind it. But in general, bottleneck I have identified is documentation, flow of documentation. In very recent times, say just about a decade or so, we've started to see few solutions in the market where a repository of all the documents come together, and depending on which subcontracting business you work for, you get access to segments of the documentation. So all in all, it's a centralized repository, and it has solved a market problem. And now we are focusing on different groups have their own layers. So when I talk of a business where they're using a solution as project manager, they in this context of lean, they had a problem. What is the solution? The problem was document flow was not consistent, and people were missing documents, just chasing, wasting of time and resource on chasing documents rather than easy access to documents. Was there any alternative at this? Few years ago, it was across emails and shared drives, which could also be confusing. Uh, and the solution that came out to be common repository with multiple levels of access. Key metrics is everybody who needs access, need to know basis access is also a setting in the product. Unique value proposition is all everything's in the conceptually everything is in the central repository for all different stakeholders to access. Unfair advantage, I feel the unfair advantage is project managers have access to all the different documentations. And customer segments is anybody who's wanting to build a commercial building. So it could then range into different target segments. Early adopters, I've seen construction-based project managers use this heavily. And cost structure is all this infrastructure needed to set up this as a business, as a tool, as a SaaS product. And revenue streams is it's been out in a market as a SaaS product, and people, project managers pay monthly fees or annual fees to utilize this tool. So that, in my experience, has is leveraging a market product to solve a business and solve a business problem and support your set up your own business of project manager.
And is this a kind of tool that can be created within your business, or is this a tool, an external tool that you can purchase then and integrate into your business?
There are products that are available to be purchased off the shelf, and it's usually available on a SaaS setup where it's you pay a subscription, monthly subscription or annual subscription. But if you're only starting fresh and there are components that you would need to say validate what works for you, uh, be any collaboration platform tools, is it Microsoft 365 or we go Google's workplace suite, you can start building automation flows to see what works and what are you comfortable with, and then I would recommend going to the subscription based products.
What are some subscription-based products that you recommend or that you've used for yourself in standardizing documents?
uh, I think standardizing documents is a different question, but in this case, it's a standard document sharing setup, which becomes easier, especially for construction sector. I've noticed popularly used is Procore, and that's a good one to lean on.
Say it again for me.
Procore.
Procorp. Thank you. Yep. And then as far as standard, so we're talking about streamlining here within document sharing, and then within documents, standardizing documentation across a business. That's something that you're actually an expert in, aren't you?
I try my bit.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about that and what it looks like standardizing documentation across our businesses so that we have a little more efficiency. I'm assuming it would take some time as a setup, or is there an easy way to do this so that things fly?
I think the easy thing is the easiest setup, or what we've started commonly using at even at workplace, is over emails, is a acronym called CPQRT. The C would stand for context. What is the context that we are using? Problem is problem is what P is what problem are we solving? Q is what questions do we have related to the matter? And R is what request, and the task, T is the task base. So that's when we go, rather than somebody having to write a whole essay or understand. It's trying to keep the messaging succinct. So that's the easier flow of communication. And in terms of standardizing, every business, I personally feel, should have an operations manual or standard operating procedure where it identifies broadly what is a process and what is the purpose of that process, what are we trying to do, who are the actors in that process, what are the steps involved, and what are the resources needed to carry those process out. It could be very simple, lightweight. It doesn't have to be relayed down to switch on the button, open the door. It doesn't need to go to that level of details. But it just said, for matter of consistency, when a new employee joins the business, they could pick up the document. Okay, we know that this is what we need to follow.
That's great. I love that. It was CBQRT.
CPQRT.
Yeah. So CPQRT. Yeah. Do run through that for me again one more time. So the C is
Context, giving a context in the background.
P is
Problem.
yep. Q
Q, questions.
R
Questions. R is request. What request? Identifying resources. It could be used either ways. And then the task is, what is the action you want them to take on this?
fantastic. Um I have a question here. Can the anagram be put in the chat or repeat the process? Oh, yeah. I'll, yeah, we just did that. I don't know, Monique, if you asked that before I asked it. Again, it's CPQRT.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if I can remember it, Animesh. Context, yeah.
Problem. Yep,
Problem, questions,
that's right.
are
Just
requests,
request or resources, the way
res-
it works in your context.
and then tasks that you need. Great. Thank you. Any other questions that you might have, those of you who are watching live, please pop them into the chat for us. Um, great. Animesh, as you were, sorry, you were saying about, we were talking about standardizing documents. And
Mhm.
then I think there was some conversation around, strategies for reducing waste and maybe unnecessary expenses in your business. How would you talk about that and what tools we can use or what processes we can put into place to help with something like cutting costs without cutting
Yeah,
value to our customers?
right. We've already touched upon few points that would help with it. So it's like identifying what non-value add activities we are doing. So basically, when we do the non-value add activities, uh, we are already spending some time and energy on doing it. And there could be a number of reasons. It could be owner operated or otherwise. I enjoy doing it, so I'll keep analyzing things. Mm, what the word I use is phrase I use is paralysis by analysis. So you may not need to analyze. What's the objective to analyze? If we go in there, we've got what we need the result for. There's no point analyzing it too much. So those are type of things uh, that we can drop from the non-value add activities. And there are tools and ways to do that. Uh, the tools may differ business to business, but the idea is conceptually, the idea is how is it aligned with the problem that we are trying to solve? Or even as a big business where different needs, imagine an assembly line, putting a car together. So if my job function is to generate the wheel for the car, if it's not contributing towards making a wheel, I probably should start thinking to avoid that. And that's the line of business function focus should be. And always relaying back to what is the vision of the business, and that would help you determine what is a non-value add. Non-value add helps you determine dropping the non-value add activities. That in itself is an efficiency gain and a cost reduction in a service sector. And that's one aspect. And the other aspect in a production setup is if I have got a big piece of paper and to make, say, example, making a greeting card. I'm doing a greeting card as a commercial uh, to sell it out in the market. So if there's a particular design, and I'm wasting a piece of paper because it only comes in as the template. So we should start looking at cradle to cradle setup where the waste of the paper is put to use again. So that is looking at increasing efficiencies, increasing utilization of the resources you've got. So one aspect is focusing on dropping the non-value adds, which will help you reduce the uh, waste and in turn cost. And again, utilizing the waste to keep it clean.
That's great, Animesh. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to share with us? I'm just going to open up for some questions. If anyone's got questions that they can pop into the Q&A for us, or if there's anything else that you wanted to share with us, Animesh.
I think in general, my driving factor has been uh, the pieces that I usually enjoy is bringing people, business, and technology together, where businesses are out there to make money, but at the same time, there's a fine line between how much we lean on customers and employees to when we do that. So that's the people aspect. So it's beneficial for people, it's comfortable for employees to work and enjoy their work, and making it easier for even customers to access it or businesses to leverage it. And where that leads to is in the modern day and age reliance on technology. And I've noticed there's a little bit of I mean, it's on both ends of the spectrum. It's some businesses are like absolutely tech savvy, and some are on the other end of we don't trust technology spectrum. So it is a fine balance of leaning on technology to solve a problem, and approaching with an open mindset, saying, okay, technology is a means to an end. At the end of the day, it's not the core of my business. Most of the businesses, when they realize this, they start to benefit from it. Or and in the common day and age, there's a um, starting to show notice a heavy reliance on the term artificial intelligence. Sometimes people don't want to be missed out and they just jump on the bandwagon, but for some businesses it's counterproductive than useful. So analyze if what is the problem that artificial intelligence could solve for you. That's an example I raised. It's not a comment on artificial intelligence in general.
Yeah, and going back to our anagram that we were talking about before, and you know, those of us here at Digital Boost, we're here because we either don't understand technology and have come along to learn. Everyone's heard me say I popped on a year ago. I'm coming up on my year anniversary here as the host for these events, and I have learned so much just absorbing things from experts like you and from the questions that our users and our Digital Boost community ask. And I feel like technology in business is what's going to take it to the next level anyway. So whether that's AI or anything that we're using that helps streamline our businesses and make it more efficient. So yeah, those of us at Digital Boost, we're big tech supporters. We love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Animesh, so much. Thank you for your time. And, in the spirit of efficiency and efficiency in our businesses, if there are no more questions, I will bring this beautiful Q&A to a close. So thank you, Animesh, for helping us figure out little ways that we can streamline our businesses with our documentation and, all of our questions being answered. Oh, let's see if we've got a question here. Oh, how to find the right answers for the questions. For example, so this is a question going back to our anagram, yeah? How to find the right answers for the questions. For example, the 3 top problems of my customers. So how would you find the answers for the 3 top problems of your customer?
Okay. So this is, I'm assuming that this is an existing business and they have got a certain degree of customer base, say 5 or 10 or 500, 5,000, doesn't matter. Um, and they have got some contact details. If they have not, that's one point to start. As in, how do I get in touch with my customer base? That's one. The other is just getting a very small feedback on how their service was received and what improvements they could enjoy. Say, and even if say you can do a questionnaire, you can do a survey, or you can do, if it's a physical brick and mortar store, you can have the punch in just by the point of sale, where you have a smiley face, a sad face, and a neutral face. That could be a small start. So it's getting a feedback, and then once you, for the ones that are uh, happy and excited and they support, there are different ways to do engage them. So for those who are happy, appreciate them, express gratitude, give them hope back, um, ask what where they can improve. That would have a little input. And then with the ones that are sad, why they did not like your service, or why would they not come back to you. And the I'm being very optimistic when I say do these activities. Say you approach 1,000 customers, you probably would be happy if should be happy if you get 100 responses. But that's using those 100 responses, you would start narrowing and seeing a pattern in the problems that you have. So that would help you identify the top 3 problems from a customer base.
Thank you, Animesh. That's great. And you know me, I love a survey. I love a survey. If you hand out a survey in my email, I will do it. Generally, how long should it take to get the correct result, or should it be done periodically?
In the matter of continuous improvement, I forgot to mention that I'm big on continuous improvement. So if you significantly improve, don't stop. If you have not improved at all, don't stop. In both cases, keep doing, believe in the process, it'll come back. So going back to the question, how long should it take to get the correct result? One is, correct result is the definition of correct result is set by you as a business. So it will evolve as the business grows. So it's almost a perpetual catch 22. You would keep going on. Uh, in the matter of continuous improvement, I would recommend a period that's suitable to your line of service. Uh, could be done annually if you're in a B2B setup, or if you are a B2C setup, I would recommend transaction based. You've run a campaign, you've given the products out, people have used it, seek feedback as soon as you can. Or if it's a subscription based, ask for whatever that subscription duration is, minimum subscription duration, that is a period I would recommend.
Thank you so much. Great. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I will release you all, getting you back to work or wherever you were. And Animesh, thank you again. Thanks for your time. I know you're taking time out of your day to come and share this with us. So lovely to see you. And those of you who are watching, we've got 2 more events this week. So tomorrow we have a marketing clinic you want to sign up for. So make sure you get in on that. And then Thursday, oh, I'm drawing a blank what I have for Thursday. Do. I should not be drawing a blank. I'll just sit here and sing at you.
Yes.
Thursday, we're talking about not ChatGPT. We're talking about AI tools to help and how to help with image images and prompting images. That's right. We've got our Tim Beats in here from Digital Boost. So come and jump in on that one as well. Sorry, everyone. Georgia's drawn a blank today. Lovely to see you all, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you, Animesh. Have a lovely day. Matewa, everyone.
Thank you.